Hello and welcome to a very special video. Today we're going to talk about Warhammer Quest Darkwater. Now I'm going to give you this right before I start talking about the individual miniatures, the hero ones, because they haven't shown the Nurgle and Beastmen ones yet, which I'm hoping for something unique and interesting there. This is one of those things I was kind of hopeful for, but after seeing the miniatures a little bit closer, I'm a little bit more ambivalent towards it. Now, I'm going to give you my reasoning as I go over the individual models, and we're going to do that right now. So we're going to start with Edmarc Valoran, or Valoran, whichever. He's a Manticore Knight. I like the idea of using the Manticore, but I do have a few gripes about it. The miniature is actually somewhat understated, except for the stupid wings. The helmet is an unusual design. I'm not quite sure. It has a bit of Germanic touches to it, but you know what? I actually think it would have been nicer if they went into the beaked helmet to bulk it up a little bit and had it be the crest not be so ridiculously large. In fact, instead of having it be on a little rod, they should have had the top of the helmet incorporated with the Manticore head, and then added like they have in, I believe, Teutonic style knights, or, you know, kind of the more Hollywood Arthurian, if you prefer, had that head, and then had a cloth and or feathered, oh gosh, I forget what they're called, mantle, effectively coming off the back, and then have it shaped kind of like the scorpion tail that some Manticore are shown to have. I think that would have been more interesting. Overall, I don't hate this miniature, and it might be my favorite, but it is a bit underwhelming in terms of design. So, the other one that I really do like is Drolf Ironhead, the dwarf. Now, there's been some talk that this might be the direction they're going to reset the dwarves to in Age of Sigmar, which could be interesting. He's fairly understated. He has that kind of old rangery look. There's nothing over the top. I like the axes. They're fairly not insane. Overall, I like what they did with him. But again, he's not a real flashy guy. And you'll notice this through all of these miniatures, is none of them are really that flashy. And it really does feel like they're kind of trying to drag the Age of Sigmar look closer to the old world, if you get my gist. Overall, he's possibly one of my favorites, and he's kind of a toss-up. I probably like him a little bit more than Valoran, but it's debatable. If Valoran didn't have that stupid crest, I'd probably like him more. Then we go to, as a jet goes overhead, sorry about that, guys, Bryn Tylus, who has an image that basically screams, "I don't like that you didn't give me enough soy in my latte. Now it's time to try to get you fired with the manager." She has that look. Took me a bit to realize this was a woman, by the way. Because I looked at the miniature and I thought, wow, that character looks a lot like Grimer Wormtongue from the movies. And I know who the actor was. But I don't like the miniature. It's understated for the most part, besides the sword, which is ridiculous. But, you know, that's to be said about a lot of Warhammer weapons. I'm not going to get too far in there. But she's got cobbled together armor. I don't know. The character just isn't that appealing to me. And I'm talking from a visual standpoint. There's nothing about them that really grabs me and goes, wow, that's a really cool model. Or, wow, that's really distinctive. It's, hey, look, it's someone in garbage, like, slapped together called armor, and they look like Grimer Wormtongue, like an angry, armored up Grimer Wormtongue. Just from my personal standpoint, the miniature doesn't grab me. It doesn't offer anything that I find that appealing. Again, we don't have the full 360. I don't know why we don't have multiple angles for these models. It's ridiculous. But, I don't care. I'm not really too fond of her little story element either, so a big thumbs down on that one. Then we have Inara Sion, who is boring as hell. She has that kind of Lady of the Lake look. You got the little magic element and the sword, but I mean, I like I said, there's a real problem with this set, and I don't have a problem with the characters looking somewhat understated, but this character, it's boring. I mean, look, guys, I really don't care about whatever, thing they're doing with this, but I look at the character and I'm like, well, this is a really boring character. To me, anyways. And her art lacks a whole element of her design because on the top she has this little flap with this extra design, and her art doesn't have that at all. And I'm going to also say this, I really don't like the style they went with the character arts. I've never been appreciative of this art style. It's always kind of annoyed me. I feel that it just doesn't work for me. That's all I'm going to say. Now, if I had my druthers and I was going to talk about what to do, this is what I would do. The two female characters, we'll start with Arena first. I would replace her with a female Bright Wizard style character. You can give them a really outstanding outfit. You have a magic character, because this character is dull and boring. This is no one's favorite character because you're either going to be like, okay, or you're going to be like, whatever. And I feel like there's going to be more of on the side of, whatever. It's not going to be a character that really sticks with people. For Bryn, I would have completely removed the whole knight thing. I would have had her be some kind of highwayman or someone like that. And then I would have made her like a pistolier from the old Empire army, and just have her have a bandolier full of pistols, have her in motion with two pistols out, maybe out forward or one back and one forward, like she's approaching someone, thrown an eye patch on her, giving her a little bit of that crazy Renaissance clothing in there. Bam. And the thing is, that would balance out the two more down-to-earth or plainer looking characters and work with the whole odd bunch kind of aesthetic. You have the knight, you have the kind of downplayed ranger, then you would have a pistolier pirate style lady and a wizard of something that stands out more than this lady. It's just so damn boring. I know it's just me complaining, but it's just how I feel about it. It's not necessarily saying anything negative on the game itself, because I don't know what it's going to be like, and we haven't seen the other half of it, the antagonist element. But I'm just saying, from a design perspective, I like that they wanted to downplay and not have all the characters over the top. The problem ends up is that when you do that with everyone, none of them have anything distinctive about them. They're two boring ladies and a knight guy whose most noticeable thing is he wears a red cape and he has a really over-the-top manticore thing, and I wish they kind of gone more Teutonic Knight than I'm going to fall over when the breeze hits these gigantic wings on my head. And the dwarf is fine, but the problem is you have to balance character designs. You need the extravagant, where you could have taken advantage of it being via the clothing with two of the characters, and the more down-to-earth kind of boring ones that kind of balance them all out. That makes both the more boring characters stand out from the more extravagant, and the more extravagant stand out against the more boring. It's called evening the design. And unfortunately, in this regard, they just kind of went boring with everyone, and that makes no one stand out. It's like a gray wall with gray flooring and a gray ceiling in a gray house with a gray driveway. Okay, I'll stop. But that's my personal thoughts. I'm waiting to see what we have on the bad guys thing, and I don't know. Do you guys agree? What's your opinions? Let me know what you think of the individual characters. I'd love to hear that. And you, if we never meet again, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.